Hi there, it's Lukasz for the Tech Travel Geeks. We recently unboxed the Mavic Air 2 drone, and as promised, we're following it up with a setup and how-to video today. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our channel to see more videos from us. Right, to set everything up, we'll need the drone, the remote, two kinds of propellers, and a phone or a tablet. In our case, the great Poco F2 Pro by Xiaomi. Well, plus a microSD card, which we forgot for this shot, and the cable for the remote, but it's already nicely stowed in the remote itself. Let's start with assembling the drone. To unfold it, start with the front arms, and then the back ones. Now that we've done that, we can install the propellers. There are two types of propellers, type A and B, to match the drone arms. When you unpack them, you can see that the type A ones have a white circle, which matches the partial circle on the drone itself. To install the propeller, align it with the drone so that the bottom of the propeller fits into the two spaces where you can see the electromagnetic coils. Then, press the propeller down and twist the mechanism counterclockwise or the propellers clockwise so it locks in place. Make sure that it's secure. You don't want to start the drone and get the propellers spinning in the air. That would be very dangerous. Then do the same with the second A propeller. Align, click, twist, and ensure it's secure. Now for the other two propellers, marked with B. This time we don't have the white circle on the arm or the propellers, so just find the bottom of the propellers where the two legs are and place them into the empty spaces. Again, twist and secure them. Let's do the same with the last propeller. And we're done with this part. Great stuff. Before we switch the drone on, we need to always remember about removing the plastic gimbal protector. To do it, press the bottom of the protector downwards and push it forward and then up. There are some stickers on the camera, feel free to remove them as well. And we're good to go. Now let's look at the remote. First let's install the joysticks, which are placed at the bottom of the remote. Just twist them clockwise. Now let's get the cable. Since we're using a modern Android phone, we'll be using the USB-C cable, but you might need to use a micro USB or a lightning cable for some Apple devices. Just make sure that the cable is inserted to the port on the right and it's hanging out on the right as well. You can then place your phone into the remote, ensuring that the USB port is on the same side as your cable, and just plug it in. We can now turn it on by pressing the power button once briefly and then holding it for the second time for a moment. The phone should recognize a new device, but you don't need to share the files, so you can just cancel it. Now we'll need the app. Search the Google Play Store or whichever app store you're using for the DJI Fly app, which is the same app that we used for the Mavic Mini, but different than the DJI Go 4 used for past drones. You'll get asked for some permissions, as the app will need access to your location. There's also a message that the app can be automatically opened when the remote is connected, which is definitely worth enabling. It's quite useful. There's more terms of use and permissions, so make sure to read through them to check if you're happy with everything. You can also share debugging information with DJI, which I skipped myself. Finally, you have to either log into your DJI account or set up a new one. Since the process is quite simple and I already have one account, I'll just log in. But if you don't have an account yet, it should be a quick and simple process anyway. If you're new to drones, there's a new user guide which will walk you through some basics and best practices of operating drones, so make sure to watch it. You can always find it in the app, it's under Academy in the top right corner. Great, we're finally in the app itself. We can now connect with the drone. We've already unfolded it and removed the gimbal, and the battery is in the drone, so all we need to do is switch it on. Again, a short and a long press, until we hear the familiar sound. Wait a moment and you should get the connection established and see the drone's camera. You just need to activate the drone, and read the terms of use, which somehow disappeared for me. Oh well. Now let's bind the drone with your account for support from DJI. After a moment, the drone will automatically be restarted to complete the activation. At this point, you can activate the DJI Care refresh option, which allows you to get 2 repairs or drone replacements in case of damage. Just make sure to do it within the 48 hours after activation, assuming you bought this option. We're almost there. Let's just update the FlySafe database, which shows where you're allowed to fly and where not to. It only takes a moment. And finally, we've done it. The drone is set up and connected. You can see the drone's camera on your phone. Oh, hello there! Before we go, let's have a quick look at the app itself. At the top right corner, you have the options menu. The safety menu is worth checking out. I kept the maximum altitude at 120 meters or 400 feet, which is the maximum height allowed in the UK. I left maximum distance at no limits, but you can change it if you want. The auto return to home altitude should be set before each flight, depending on how tall the biggest obstacle nearby is. For example, when I was in the beautiful Arbroath in Scotland the other day, I had to make sure that the drone went high enough not to hit the cliffs, so keep that in mind. I also enabled both obstacle detection and advanced pilot assistance system for obstacle avoidance. Better safe than sorry. You can also calibrate the compass and the magnetic IMU sensor here, as well as checking the battery info and a few other settings. The control menu allows you to switch between different measurement units and configure the gimbal. Since I try to film cinematic shots, I keep it in the follow mode, but changing to FPV will give you the feeling of the first-person drones if that's what you're after. You can further configure the gimbal, but I kept the settings as default. For the camera settings, I ensured I shoot both JPEG and RAW photos and changed the aspect ratio to 16:9. I enabled histogram and overexposure warnings so I can see if I need to adjust the camera settings at any time. I also added the grid lines, but I might disable them actually, since the drone levels itself automatically anyway. At this very moment I realized I forgot to install an SD card. Luckily, there's 8GB of built-in memory for storage, but we will install some extra storage in a moment. You can also change the video cache size. I changed it to 4GB. I left the transmission settings as they were, but worth checking if you're having connectivity issues. Finally, the About screen allows you to check for the latest firmware updates. Why did I not upgrade the device straight away? Good question, I'm not sure myself, but if you get an upgrade you should definitely install it, as the drones keep on getting improved by the manufacturer, so make sure not to skip it like I did. Okay, before we go, let's install the SD card as promised. I'm using a 128GB SanDisk Ultra card, which should give me plenty of storage. I already formatted it on my PC to have it empty. The card reader is on the right side of the drone, behind a small door. Just insert it upside down and press it with your fingernail, and that should be it. The app should detect it straight away and will ask you if you want to switch the storage recording to it automatically, which is what we want to do. You can then verify it by going to the settings, camera and storage. You can also format it just in case, never hurts. That's it, the drone is set up and ready to fly. We'll definitely continue with drone coverage on our channel, so let us know what you'd like to see in the comments below, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the Tech Travel Geeks for more videos from us. Thanks for watching!